It's all around lithium batteries, and firefighters cannot use water to put that out, so they had to wait the fire out. It actually...
One of the world's largest lithium battery plants. Flames could be seen from miles away.
An explosive disaster in California, a billion-dollar energy storage system in ruins, and the world pointing fingers at Tesla. But what if the real truth is something far darker than the headlines tell us? This is the story of how one fire turned the energy world upside down, and why Tesla's name is being dragged into a disaster it had nothing to do with. Buckle up, because the real story is about to unfold. World's third largest battery engulfed in flames. A fire broke out in California that would go down in history, ravaging the third largest battery storage system in the world. For days, the flames relentlessly consumed the battery, producing enough smoke to cast a dark shadow over the region. The magnitude of the destruction was incomprehensible. And yet, the real question remains, how did this happen? And why, just as the fire raged, did the media hastily link this disaster to Tesla, a company with zero involvement? With billions at stake, the truth seemed even more elusive. But behind the flames, one thing is certain. The world of energy storage is about to change forever. The fire tore through Moss Landing, a massive battery storage facility in California. It was supposed to be a game changer for renewable energy, designed to capture the excess energy from solar plants and send it back to the grid during peak hours. But what happened next revealed a terrifying flaw in the system. Was this the beginning of a chain reaction that could threaten every major energy storage project worldwide? Stay tuned, because this disaster isn't just about fire. It's about the truth behind the technology that's supposed to save our planet. With the flames still smoldering, the world watched. The air was thick with the scent of burning metal, as investigators raced to determine the cause. Was it faulty wiring, a gas leak, or something far worse? The only thing certain was that this fire wasn't just a random accident, it was a disaster waiting to happen. What went wrong, and could it happen again? In the wake of the disaster, questions began swirling. How could such a monumental facility, built to store energy from California's abundant solar resources, go up in flames so quickly? The implications were massive, not just for the facility, but for the future of energy storage technology. Could the world's reliance on massive battery farms like Moss Landing be putting everyone at risk? The truth is about to unfold. And so, the questions linger. Why are these massive facilities failing? What caused this fire? And more importantly, how will it reshape the way the world thinks about energy storage? Let's dive deeper into the real cause of this disaster. Could it all have been avoided? And who's really responsible? LG Chem's deadly history. This catastrophic fire was not a random accident. It was the result of systemic issues with the batteries themselves, and the finger points directly at LG Chem. Known for producing batteries with a shocking propensity to fail, whether in electric vehicles, home storage systems, or massive energy facilities, LG Chem's track record has been disastrous. Thousands of their batteries have been recalled for fires, and the public is starting to wonder how many more incidents like this are waiting to happen. Despite LG Chem's massive market share, they've quietly become the villains of the energy storage world. Their batteries have been behind some of the most devastating incidents in recent years. Fires that have destroyed homes, businesses, and now, one of the world's largest battery farms. What is it about their batteries that make them so dangerous? Is there a systemic problem with their design, or is it something more insidious? Let's talk about the history of LG Chem. They've been tied to numerous recalls, including one involving over 14,000 batteries in Australia. And it's not just their home products. LG Chem's batteries have been responsible for fires in cars like the Chevy Bolt and Jaguar I-Pace. Are they truly incapable of making a safe battery? Or is the problem more complicated than that? As we dig deeper into LG Chem's history, it becomes clear that this fire is far from an isolated incident. From home energy storage solutions to large-scale projects, their batteries have consistently failed under pressure. And despite the company's efforts to improve, their products continue to ignite and destroy everything in their path. But here's the twist. LG Chem's competitors are using newer, safer technology. And that raises a big question. Could the rise of safer battery options signal the end for LG Chem's dominance in the industry? With the future of battery technology at stake, this may be the turning point the world has been waiting for. The truth behind the Tesla misfire. For some strange reason, the media couldn't resist spinning the Moss Landing disaster into a Tesla failure. The headlines screamed, "Tesla's battery system catches fire." Yet, the truth is that Tesla had absolutely nothing to do with the Moss Landing fire. So, why was Tesla dragged into the mess? The simple answer lies in the media's insatiable hunger for sensational stories. Let's face it, nothing gets clicks and views like framing Tesla in a negative light. Over the years, Tesla has become a lightning rod for controversy. And in today's media climate, even a hint of scandal surrounding the company will spark an avalanche of attention. So, when a massive fire breaks out at one of the largest battery storage facilities in the world, it's tempting to make the connection to Tesla, regardless of the facts. But the truth behind the headlines is far more complicated. The fire at Moss Landing involved a facility powered by batteries from a different manufacturer, LG Chem, not Tesla. Despite Tesla's megapacks being used in some of the largest energy storage projects around the world, they weren't even part of this facility. Yet Tesla's name was dragged into the headlines, with no regard for accuracy. Why? Could it be that Tesla's immense success and reputation for innovation in the energy sector make them a convenient scapegoat for any disaster involving energy storage? It's clear that this wasn't about the facts. It was about crafting a narrative that would catch the public's eye. It's worth noting that Tesla's energy technology, including their megapacks, is considered some of the safest and most efficient in the industry. Tesla has worked hard to design energy storage systems that prioritize safety, using advanced cooling systems, fire suppression techniques, and cutting-edge battery technology. Despite being involved in numerous high-profile projects, Tesla has never been the source of a disaster on the scale of the Moss Landing fire. So, why is the media so eager to tarnish the company's reputation, especially when it has so little to do with the incident? Tesla's name is synonymous with innovation, and innovation often attracts controversy. But in this case, Tesla is the victim of misinformation. The company has become the target of a media-driven narrative that seeks to capitalize on any misstep, real or imagined. Tesla's success in revolutionizing the electric vehicle and energy sectors has made them a lightning rod for criticism. However, the truth is clear. This fire wasn't Tesla's fault, and it's time the media stops perpetuating false narratives. The history of battery fires. Battery fires aren't a new phenomenon. In fact, they've been a recurring issue plaguing both the energy storage and electric vehicle industries for years. But why are certain types of batteries more prone to spontaneous combustion than others? What makes them so volatile? And what are the underlying causes that lead to these terrifying failures? To understand why battery fires are so frequent, we need to look at the history of these failures, particularly those involving LG Chem. Over the years, we've witnessed countless battery fires, ranging from small-scale home storage units to catastrophic failures in electric vehicles. The most notable culprit in these fires, lithium-ion batteries. From the infamous Chevy Bolt battery recall to the dangerous fires associated with home storage systems, the issues surrounding lithium-ion technology have raised major safety concerns. Why do these incidents keep happening? Could it be that we're using the wrong technology altogether? The underlying problem with many of these fires lies in the design flaws and materials used in the batteries. While lithium-ion batteries are incredibly efficient, they are notoriously unstable when subjected to extreme temperatures, physical damage, or internal short circuits. In fact, lithium-ion batteries have a tendency to enter a dangerous phenomenon known as thermal runaway, a reaction that can cause the battery to catch fire or even explode. So, how do we prevent this? Is there a better solution, or are these risks just part of the technology? It's not simply a matter of improving design or adding better safety measures. It's about using the right kind of technology. This is where lithium iron phosphate, LFP batteries come into play. LFP batteries offer a safer alternative to lithium-ion. With their lower thermal runaway onset temperature, they are far less likely to overheat or ignite. They also last longer, are cheaper to produce, and are much safer. Despite the clear advantages, why are we still relying on lithium-ion batteries, especially when the dangers of thermal runaway are so well documented? The shift toward cleaner energy is vital. but the safety of the technology we use to store that energy is just as critical. The question remains, will we continue to use a potentially dangerous technology, or will we learn from the past and adopt safer alternatives like LFP batteries? As the world pushes toward a greener future, one thing is certain: the lessons learned from these fires must not be ignored. The industry must evolve, whether it's through the widespread adoption of LFP batteries or new innovations in energy storage technology. History has shown us that ignoring these issues will only lead to more fires, more recalls, and more damage. The time to act is now. What happens when energy storage goes wrong? When things go wrong with energy storage, the consequences can be far-reaching. The Moss Landing fire didn't just destroy a battery, it sent shockwaves through the entire energy sector. With the loss of one of the world's largest battery facilities, California's grid faces a critical gap. The world watched as this fire highlighted just how vulnerable these systems really are. So, what now? The aftermath of the fire is still unfolding. While some parts of the facility remain operational, others are still smoldering, with the full extent of the damage yet to be fully realized. With the battery storage system gone, how will California's grid cope with the loss? And what lessons can we learn from this catastrophe? This fire could have huge ramifications, not just for the facility itself, but for future energy storage projects worldwide. It's time to rethink the designs and safety measures we've put in place, and to ask the hard questions. Will we keep relying on risky technology, or is it time for a change? California's energy grid, which was already under strain from growing demand and the push for renewables, is now facing even more pressure. How will the state handle the loss of a vital energy storage system? And will this prompt a nationwide re-evaluation of energy storage safety? The world is watching closely, waiting to see what happens next. But one thing is clear: this fire has exposed a critical vulnerability in our energy systems, and it's something we cannot afford to ignore. Was it poor design or just bad luck? The fire at Moss Landing may seem like a freak accident to some, but the reality is that there were systemic issues at play. While the exact cause remains unknown, it's hard to ignore the role of poor design. The facility was designed to house large-scale batteries in a former turbine hall, which may have exacerbated the risk of overheating and fire. So, was this bad luck or bad design? As experts begin to sift through the wreckage, the possibility of faulty design seems increasingly likely. Was the facility built in the right place? Were the materials used appropriate for the heat and energy demands placed on them? And did the battery storage systems fail because of flawed engineering? It's not just about a single mistake. It's about a pattern of issues that have plagued these massive storage projects. And that raises the question, how many other facilities are at risk? How many more of these colossal energy storage systems are being built with design flaws that could lead to another disaster? This fire has forced the energy sector to confront some uncomfortable truths. How safe are these systems? Are we taking shortcuts with design and safety in the race to deploy more renewable energy solutions? One thing's for certain, this fire has put the spotlight on the critical need for better planning, design, and safety standards in the energy storage industry. When batteries fail, the environmental impact of energy storage systems goes far beyond the potential for fires and explosions. While fires like the one at Moss Landing are horrific, they represent just one part of a much larger ecological cost that often gets overlooked. When these batteries fail, the consequences can be far-reaching. In the case of Moss Landing, it wasn't just property that was destroyed, it was the potential for massive environmental contamination. As the fire ravaged the facility, questions about the release of toxic chemicals into the environment took center stage. But what happens when these failures occur in facilities that are the cornerstone of renewable energy storage? How do we mitigate the environmental risks of large-scale battery systems? As the investigation into the Moss Landing fire continues, experts have been raising alarms about the environmental fallout from the chemicals involved in battery fires. While the authorities reported that air quality levels were monitored and deemed safe, the reality is that long-term environmental effects remain uncertain. And it's not just the smoke that poses a threat. Lithium-ion batteries, such as the ones used in the Moss Landing facility, can leak toxic materials, such as lithium salts, fluoride, and other harmful chemicals, into both the air and the soil. These substances pose serious risks to nearby communities and ecosystems, potentially contaminating groundwater and harming wildlife. Could the fight for cleaner energy now be tainted by these unintended consequences? Battery failures like these are a stark reminder of the true environmental cost of energy storage technology. It's not just about the explosion we see on TV, it's about what happens after the fire is extinguished. The chemicals that remain behind are often far more dangerous than the fire itself. And as more and more battery storage systems are built to fuel the push for renewable energy, we need to ask, are we sacrificing environmental safety for speed and convenience? Can we truly push forward with a greener future if we continue to ignore the environmental risks of the technology storing our energy? It's crucial that we take a hard look at the trade-offs we're making. Yes, renewable energy is a step in the right direction, but what happens when the storage solutions we depend on are just as dangerous as the fossil fuels we are trying to replace? As we push for progress, we must ask whether we've fully accounted for the ecological consequences of these massive energy storage systems. After all, an energy revolution that causes more harm than good could end up being an environmental disaster in disguise. Looking ahead, the question remains: how can we balance the benefits of renewable energy with the environmental risks posed by the very systems that store it? As the world races toward cleaner energy, we must ensure that the solutions we choose are sustainable, not just for the grid, but for the planet. And, as we see with the aftermath of the Moss Landing disaster, it's clear that without a comprehensive approach to safety and environmental stewardship, we could find ourselves facing even larger and more damaging consequences down the road. Lithium-ion versus lithium iron phosphate. The battle between lithium-ion and lithium iron phosphate, LFP batteries, has never been more critical. As the world rushes to adopt large-scale energy storage solutions, the question must be asked: are we using the right technology? While lithium-ion has been the dominant technology for years, could LFP batteries, considered to be safer, cheaper, and longer-lasting, be the key to preventing future disasters like the Moss Landing fire? Lithium-ion batteries have been around for decades, but their inherent flaws are becoming impossible to ignore. When subjected to extreme temperatures, physical damage, or manufacturing defects, lithium-ion batteries can enter a catastrophic process known as thermal runaway, leading to fires or explosions. This is why incidents like the Moss Landing disaster, as well as the recent recalls from LG Chem, are becoming so concerning. But could LFP batteries, less prone to overheating and with a lower risk of fire, be the savior the industry needs? Despite their advantages, LFP batteries are still a relatively new player in the world of large-scale energy storage. They are much safer due to their stable chemistry and a lower thermal runaway onset temperature, making them less likely to catch fire. They are also more cost-effective, allowing for greater scalability of energy storage projects. Yet, companies continue to rely on lithium-ion technology, primarily due to its established history and higher energy density. But in the wake of so many catastrophic failures, is it time for the industry to embrace a change? The case for LFP is growing stronger with each disaster. The Moss Landing fire could serve as the pivotal moment in energy storage history when the industry realizes the necessity of making the switch to LFP. As battery failures become more common, the need for safer, more reliable alternatives has never been more urgent. But the question remains: can LFP technology scale quickly enough to replace the old guard? Will this be the new standard for energy storage in a rapidly changing world? The future of energy storage hangs in the balance. With increasing pressure to innovate and solve the world's energy crisis, will LFP batteries become the dominant technology? Or will the industry continue to ignore the risks of lithium-ion in favor of its long-standing use? One thing is certain: the shift to safer, more sustainable energy storage is inevitable, and it could reshape the entire landscape of the energy industry. How one fire could change the future of energy. The fire at Moss Landing wasn't just a local tragedy, it sent ripples through the entire energy sector. As the world shifts towards renewable energy, the need for efficient and safe energy storage has never been more pressing. But this disaster serves as a stark reminder of how vulnerable the global push for cleaner energy really is. How will this fire change the future of energy storage and, more importantly, the global drive for sustainable energy? With the rise of solar and wind energy, large-scale battery storage systems have become essential for balancing the grid. These systems store excess energy generated during the day and release it when demand peaks. The Moss Landing facility, a linchpin in California's renewable energy efforts, was designed to keep the grid stable during peak hours. But with such a large-scale failure, will we be forced to rethink our reliance on energy storage systems? Could this disaster delay the transition to clean energy, as governments and companies reassess the safety and reliability of these systems? As the world scrambles to meet ambitious climate goals, energy storage has been touted as the solution to the intermittent nature of renewable energy. However, this fire casts a shadow over that optimism. The failure of a system that was supposed to be a model of clean energy progress raises serious questions about the true safety of these storage technologies. With major energy storage projects relying on lithium-ion batteries, how can we ensure that the future of clean energy won't be hampered by more incidents like this? The global energy sector is at a crossroads. As governments and corporations continue to invest billions in renewable energy infrastructure, this fire has exposed a critical vulnerability in the technology we rely on. How will this incident affect public trust in renewable energy solutions, and how will it influence future investments in energy storage? The future of energy storage and renewable energy itself is at stake. The world is watching. Can the energy storage sector recover from this disaster? Or will this fire be the moment that reshapes the entire global energy landscape? As the future of clean energy continues to evolve, this incident may very well be the tipping point that forces the industry to rethink its approach to energy storage. What will come next? Is the future of energy storage doomed? After the Moss Landing disaster, many are left questioning whether large-scale energy storage systems can truly be relied upon to power the future. This fire didn't just damage a facility, it raised existential questions about the safety and long-term viability of energy storage systems. Is the future of renewable energy storage doomed, or is this just a speed bump in an otherwise promising industry? The rapid expansion of energy storage systems has been one of the cornerstones of the renewable energy revolution. As the world moves away from fossil fuels, these storage solutions are meant to store excess energy from solar and wind farms. But the recurrence of battery failures, culminating in the Moss Landing fire, has brought these systems' reliability into question. Are we moving too fast, or is the technology not ready for the challenges we're throwing at it? The future of energy storage now seems uncertain. Will we continue to pour billions into these systems, only to watch them fail when we need them the most? And with lithium-ion batteries showing themselves to be more volatile than anticipated, should we reconsider our entire approach to energy storage? As the industry faces pressure to innovate, the question remains: are we relying too heavily on one technology that could be prone to catastrophic failure? Could the rise of lithium iron phosphate, LFP batteries, signal a turning point in this conversation? If LFP technology can provide the safety and reliability needed to prevent another disaster, it may offer a way forward. However, the transition from lithium-ion to LFP will take time, and the question remains: can the energy storage industry afford to wait? The stakes have never been higher. The future of energy storage hangs in the balance, and the Moss Landing fire may have just been the catalyst for a much-needed shift in the way we think about renewable energy storage. Will we continue to invest in a flawed technology, or will we learn from past mistakes and build a safer, more sustainable future? Safer energy solutions. In the wake of the massive battery fire at Moss Landing, the race to develop safer, more efficient energy storage solutions is more critical than ever. The energy storage industry faces an urgent challenge: innovate quickly to prevent further disasters or risk undermining the global push for clean energy. What happens when companies prioritize speed and cost over safety? Could this fire have been prevented if better design and safety measures had been in place? The Moss Landing disaster serves as a wake-up call to the energy industry. The demand for energy storage is at an all-time high, driven by the growing need for renewable energy solutions. But with the race to develop new technologies comes the danger of cutting corners. Can we afford to sacrifice safety in our rush to deploy these systems worldwide? This fire has exposed a critical flaw in the current energy storage systems and highlighted the need for a more cautious, thoughtful approach to innovation. The push for rapid innovation is essential, but as the Moss Landing fire shows, there are serious consequences when safety is compromised. The industry must now reassess how energy storage systems are designed, built, and maintained. Will future systems be built with safety as the top priority, or will we continue to see more catastrophic failures as the industry grows faster than its safety protocols can keep up? As new technologies like LFP batteries gain traction, the potential for a safer energy storage future is on the horizon. But making this shift will require significant investment in research, development, and infrastructure. The world cannot afford to make the same mistakes twice, and as we move forward, safety must become the industry's top priority. We are at a crossroads. The race to secure a sustainable energy future is not just about technology. It's about ensuring that the technology we use is safe, reliable, and scalable. The world is watching, and the next move could change the course of energy storage history. Can energy storage recover from this disaster? The fire at Moss Landing didn't just destroy property, it fractured the trust the public has in energy storage systems. With so much at stake, can the industry recover from this disaster? Or is this fire the final nail in the coffin for large-scale battery storage? The stakes are high, and rebuilding trust in energy storage technology will be a monumental challenge. Public perception of energy storage has already been shaky, with several high-profile failures in the past few years. As people become more aware of the dangers associated with these systems, can the industry regain their confidence? The process will be slow and painful, requiring transparency, accountability, and significant changes in safety protocols. But the future of renewable energy depends on it. New technologies, like LFP batteries, offer hope for a safer future. However, regaining public trust will require more than just a new product. It will take a fundamental shift in how the industry operates. The public needs assurance that these systems are safe and reliable, especially as they are deployed in more and more locations. Will the energy storage sector rise from the ashes of the Moss Landing disaster, or will this fire mark the end of an era? Only time will tell, but the battle for trust is just beginning. It's up to the industry to prove that it can learn from past mistakes and build systems that are both effective and safe for the future. The road to recovery will be long, but it's not too late to rebuild the trust that has been lost. The industry must act swiftly and decisively, or face the consequences of its failure to learn from the past. What comes next for energy storage? As the ashes of the Moss Landing fire settle, the energy storage industry is left grappling with a crucial question. What comes next? This fire has exposed the vulnerabilities of current energy storage systems, and it's clear that the path forward will require significant change. Can we continue to rely on these systems to power the future, or have we placed too much faith in a technology that has repeatedly failed us when we needed it most? This fire isn't just a wake-up call, it's a turning point. The energy storage sector now faces a crossroads. Do we continue down the same path, trusting in the current technology? Or do we pivot to safer, more reliable alternatives like LFP batteries? The future of energy storage, and by extension the future of renewable energy, depends on the decisions made in the coming months and years. It's not just about technology, it's about responsibility. As the world races toward cleaner, greener energy solutions, we must ensure that the systems we put in place to store and distribute that energy are safe, sustainable, and reliable. The next chapter in the energy storage story is waiting to be written, but whether it will be one of success or failure remains to be seen. The question isn't just whether we can recover from this disaster, it's whether we can avoid repeating the same mistakes again. The future of energy storage is in our hands. Will we rise to the challenge and create a safer, more reliable energy system? Or will we continue to gamble with technology that is still prone to catastrophic failure? The next move is ours. The future of energy storage and the world's clean energy future is waiting. With the flames of Moss Landing now extinguished, the energy storage industry must ask itself, can we trust these systems moving forward, or will we continue to see catastrophic failures? One thing is clear, the future of energy storage has never been more uncertain. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we keep you updated on this ever-evolving story.